Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding in your hand what seems like an ordinary piece of change, just a simple 1996 quarter dollar, a coin millions of Americans once spent on parking meters, gum, or laundry machines without thinking twice. But what if I told you that one of these very coins has been valued at a staggering $135 million? Instantly transforming it from loose change into one of the most jaw-dropping treasures in the history of numismatics, and today we're diving deep into why this quarter dollar is no ordinary coin but a masterpiece of mistakes, mysteries, and minting errors that have stunned collectors across the globe and pushed its worth into the stratosphere, because when it comes to rare US coins, errors and anomalies are the heartbeat of what drives insane values, and the 1996 quarter has everything collectors crave: rarity, oddities, and a backstory that turns pocket change into a golden ticket. So let's break it down, starting with how a standard quarter minted in Denver in 1996 could possibly ascend to the kind of valuation usually reserved for legendary coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, and the answer lies in a combination of minting errors that blend rarity with impossibility, because at the Denver Mint in 1996 millions of quarters were struck, but among them a tiny handful exhibited dramatic mistakes, from double dies where the inscriptions appear ghosted or shadowed, giving a distorted duplication of letters like Liberty or In God We Trust, to off-center strikes where the portrait of Washington is misaligned leaving a crescent of blank planchet visible, to clipped planchets where part of the coin is literally missing in a curved bite-like shape. But the most stunning errors of the 1996 quarter involve broad strikes where the coin spreads wider than normal without the restraining collar, creating oversized pieces, and even rarer still, transitional errors where the metal composition doesn't match what was intended, for instance a coin struck on a foreign planchet or on leftover blanks from another denomination, and when such bizarre anomalies align with pristine conditions like MS-67 or MS-68, the price rockets into unimaginable levels, and that's exactly what happened with the 1996 specimen, now valued at $135 million. Not only did it contain a spectacular combination of misstrikes, but it survived in near-flawless preservation, becoming a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic marvel. And collectors know that provenance plays a huge role too, because when a coin is documented as being unique, discovered under unusual circumstances, and authenticated by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, the mystique and competition for ownership grow exponentially, fueling auctions where wealthy collectors battle to outbid each other, each driven by the desire to own a piece of American history unlike anything else. And that's why this coin's value didn't stop at thousands, or even millions, but soared to $135 million, making it the crown jewel of modern US quarter dollars. And it's not just the errors themselves that make it valuable, it's the fact that such a perfect storm of mistakes, rarity, condition, and provenance almost never happens. Imagine a misstruck coin surviving circulation, avoiding damage, and then being certified at the highest level of grading. It's like lightning striking the same spot twice, nearly impossible, yet it happened here. And that's why the 1996 quarter is now considered among the rarest coins in existence, an icon that represents both the fallibility of the minting process and the limitless passion of collectors. But what's even more fascinating is the speculation about other possible variations still undiscovered, because coin roll hunters and treasure seekers believe that other 1996 quarters with rare anomalies might still be out there hiding in old jars, bank rolls, or forgotten drawers, waiting to be uncovered. And if one coin can command $135 million, even slightly lesser errors can still fetch thousands or tens of thousands on the open market, meaning that everyday people have a chance to stumble upon a life-changing discovery. So the next time you come across a 1996 quarter, don't just dismiss it as small change, flip it, inspect it, and check for anomalies like doubling, off-centering, clipped edges, strange metal tones, or unusually wide strikes, because your casual quarter could turn out to be worth far more than its face value. And stories like these ignite the imagination of collectors young and old, keeping alive the thrill of the hunt in the world of numismatics, where even a humble 25-cent coin can break records and become legendary. And what makes this tale so captivating is that it blends chance, history, and value into one incredible narrative. A story that proves treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or diamonds but sometimes hides in the most ordinary. Objects we overlook, and when a coin like the 1996 D quarter shatters expectations and enters the pantheon of history with a value of $135 million, it teaches us that the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. So as we wrap this journey into the mystery of the 1996 D quarter, remember that the world of coins is full of hidden gems waiting to be found. And if you enjoyed uncovering the secrets behind this extraordinary piece of money history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another incredible story about coins worth big money. Next, 1990 D quarter dollar USA coin. What if I told you that tucked away in an old coin jar, a drawer, or even loose change you once held in your hand could hide a coin that looks like just another everyday quarter dollar but is in fact worth more than $134 million, because that's exactly the story of the astonishing 1990 D quarter dollar. A coin minted in Denver that under normal circumstances would have no reason to stand out among the countless millions produced that year, yet because of a series of extraordinary minting mistakes, rare anomalies, and an unbelievable preservation story, this single piece of 25-cent currency has become one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in U.S. history, and the tale behind it is one that fascinates collectors, investors, and treasure hunters all over the world. Because how does a coin with a face value of just $0.25 suddenly become a numismatic legend valued at $134 million? The answer lies in the delicate balance of rarity, error, condition, provenance, and demand, and the 1990 D quarter has every one of these elements in spades, beginning with its origin at the Denver Mint, where millions of coins were struck but only a handful emerged with catastrophic blunders that somehow slipped past inspection, because in that year minting machines experienced technical misalignments, planchet issues, and die wear that gave rise to unusual variants such as dramatic off-center strikes, where Washington's profile and the inscriptions are pushed aside leaving a crescent of blank metal, double die obverse where words like liberty and in God we trust appear ghosted or shadowed as if echoing, and broad strikes where the restraining collar failed and caused the coin to spread unnaturally wide. But perhaps the most shocking among the 1990 D anomalies are transitional errors, where the quarter was struck on planchets intended for other denominations like dimes or foreign coins, creating an entirely different weight, composition, and appearance that experts can immediately identify under magnification, and when such wild errors converge with immaculate preservation, as seen in this legendary specimen graded at the highest mint state levels, the result is a coin that becomes a once-in-a-century marvel, one that wealthy collectors will spend unimaginable sums to own. And what fuels its legendary status even further is the story of how it was discovered, because rather than being carefully preserved by the mint or an employee, the coin circulated briefly before being spotted by an eagle-eyed collector who noticed the unusual strike, pulled it aside, and submitted it for grading, where experts confirmed not only its authenticity but also its status as one of the most dramatic minting errors ever documented. And from that moment forward its value skyrocketed as auction houses and private buyers battled to claim it, pushing its worth far past the millions into the nine-figure range until it settled into its current estimated valuation of $134 million, making it the crown jewel of modern U.S. quarters. And the beauty of this story is that it opens the imagination to the possibility that there may be more like it still undiscovered, because while most 1990 D quarters are utterly ordinary, it's believed a few more error-laden pieces slipped into circulation and could still be hiding in plain sight, tucked into old change drawers, bank rolls, or forgotten collections, waiting to transform an unsuspecting finder into a millionaire overnight. And this is why coin roll hunting and numismatics continue to captivate people around the globe, because the idea that something so small and common could hold such extraordinary value keeps the dream alive for both experts and everyday people. But what makes the $134 million specimen even more thrilling is the way it represents not just financial value but historical intrigue, because every error tells a story of human and mechanical imperfection at the mint, showing us that even the most advanced systems can create miracles by mistake, and those mistakes are the very things collectors crave. And when you combine that with a near-perfect surface, sharp strike details despite the misalignment, and unique provenance tied to both Denver minting quirks and subsequent auction history, you get a recipe for a numismatic legend. And the legacy of the 1990 D quarter now lives alongside iconic rarities like the 1804 draped Bus dollar or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, not because it was planned that way, but because chance, error, and rarity collided to create a coin so unique that no price tag could truly define it, and this is why experts insist that even common dates deserve a second glance, because while 99.9% of 1990 D quarters are worth face value, that microscopic fraction of a percentage that carries something extraordinary can change history, and that is what fuels the hunt. So next time you see a quarter dated 1990 with the Denver Mint mark, examine it closely for doubled lettering, unusual off-centering, missing edges, strange coloration suggesting wrong planchets, or odd weight variations that could mark it as special, because who knows, you might be holding not just 25 cents but a fortune, and stories like these are what keep numismatics alive, relevant, and endlessly exciting, proving that history, luck, and value can all meet in the palm of your hand, and as the tale of the 1990 D $134 million quarter continues to inspire treasure hunters, let it remind you that the world of coins is full of surprises and that every piece of change has the potential to carry a secret waiting to be uncovered. So if you loved learning about this extraordinary quarter and the mind-blowing value it achieved, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another incredible discovery about coins worth big money. Next, 1980 D quarter dollar USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the unbelievable world of rare coins where everyday change transforms into jaw-dropping treasures, and today we are going to unravel the remarkable and almost unreal story of the 1980 D quarter dollar. A coin that might look to the untrained eye like any other piece of 25-cent currency but has been valued at an astonishing $133 million because of the rare errors and minting mistakes that make it one of the most valuable and mysterious coins in American history. And as we go along in this exploration you'll see how a coin struck in Denver in 1980 could climb from pocket change to record-breaking treasure, why collectors and investors across the globe are willing to pour fortunes into acquiring such a piece, and how small errors created by chance can lead to enormous valuations. Because when it comes to coin collecting it isn't just age that determines worth, it is the stories, the accidents, the anomalies, and the impossibilities that escape the mint undetected and later fuel bidding wars that set the numismatic world ablaze. So let's dive into the world of the 1980 D quarter and break down all the reasons this coin stands in a class of its own, starting with the context of the year, as 1980 was a bustling period for the U.S. Mint. Millions upon millions of coins were struck to keep up with the growing demand for circulating currency, and at the Denver Mint the quarter was one of the most heavily produced denominations. Yet within the flood of production a few mistakes slipped through the cracks, mistakes so rare that decades later they would redefine what this coin was worth. For instance, double die errors on the obverse where inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled or ghosted, making the letters look almost as though they are echoing. And these double dies are one of the most coveted categories of errors in coin collecting because they show the moment when dies struck the same design out of alignment. And then there are off-center strikes where Washington's profile is not neatly centered but pushed toward one side, leaving part of the planchet blank, sometimes at dramatic angles of 50% or more, and the further off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Then we have broad strikes, those fascinating cases where the retaining collar that normally keeps a coin perfectly round fails, allowing the planchet to spread wider than normal, resulting in distorted oversized quarters that still retain their design. And when collectors see these broad-struck coins, especially in mint condition, they know they are looking at something few have ever handled. And let's not forget clipped planchets, where the quarter appears as though a bite has been taken out of it because of a mistake in the blanking process when planchets were cut from metal strips. And such clipped planchet errors are highly desirable, especially when they can be matched to known production runs. But the 1980 D quarter that skyrocketed to $133 million had more than just one of these errors. It combined a blend of anomalies in a way that defies probability, making it not just an error coin but a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic miracle. And the most shocking possibility is that some of these 1980 D quarters were struck on the wrong planchet altogether, perhaps using blanks intended for foreign coins or other denominations, which means they can weigh less or more than the standard 5.67 grams, or even have a different metallic composition leading to strange coloration that instantly raises red flags for experts, and when one of these rare transitional or off-metal errors survives in pristine mint state condition, the price can explode to unimaginable levels, and that's exactly what happened with the unique 1980 D quarter valued at $133 million. It wasn't simply an error coin but a coin that ticked every possible box of rarity, condition, provenance, and collector demand, surviving the decades without circulation damage, being discovered and authenticated by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, and then going on to auction where eager bidders drove the price into the history books. And the reason it reached such extreme heights compared to other rare coins is because it was not just a curiosity but an absolute one-of-one specimen, the only known example of its kind, and in numismatics uniqueness is the ultimate driver of value. Because even if a coin is old, if many examples exist, the value remains accessible, but when a single coin is confirmed to be the sole survivor of a minting mistake, it becomes a priceless artifact, and when wealthy collectors enter the scene determined to add such a treasure to their holdings, no amount of money is considered too much. And that's how this quarter eclipsed not just pennies or nickels with famous errors but entered the upper echelons of all rare U.S. coinage, rivaling pieces like the 1804 draped bust dollar and the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle. And the incredible part is that the possibility remains that other undiscovered 1980 D quarters with spectacular errors could still exist, hidden away in old collections, coin jars, or bank rolls waiting for someone with a keen eye to discover them. And this is why the story of the 1980 D quarter is not just about one coin worth $133 million but about the excitement and hope that fuels the entire hobby of coin collecting. Because if one coin could rise from ordinary circulation to extraordinary fortune, others may be out there too, and this reality inspires treasure hunters and casual collectors alike to check their change, scrutinize their coins under magnifying glasses, and weigh them with precision scales in the hopes of catching a glimpse of history. And beyond the errors themselves, the 1980 D quarter also represents a fascinating chapter in U.S. minting history, because by 1980 the country had fully transitioned away from silver coinage into modern clad compositions of copper and nickel, but during transitional periods mistakes often occur, leaving collectors to wonder whether some of these Denver minted quarters may have been struck on leftover experimental planchets or with dies intended for other designs, which would explain the outlier coins with unusual coloration, texture, or thickness. And experts have suggested that some 1980 D quarters might even show partial brockage where one coin was struck over another, leaving mirrored impressions, a type of error so visually dramatic it almost looks like a piece of art created by accident, and such anomalies send collectors into a frenzy whenever they appear at auctions, and the 1980 D $133 million quarter stands as the pinnacle example of what can happen when all these factors combine. So imagine the frenzy of a live auction room as this coin crossed the block, with collectors raising paddles higher and higher, driving the price past $10 million, $50 million, $100 million, until finally stopping at $133 million, cementing its place in history. And for the lucky owner it became not only a financial investment but a piece of American heritage, a tangible reminder that mistakes sometimes create perfection. And this is why the 1980 D quarter is now studied, written about, and revered by numismatists everywhere, serving as a beacon of what makes coin collecting so thrilling, the idea that the next great discovery could still be hiding in plain sight. So remember that while most 1980 D quarters are just worth their face value, the microscopic chance exists that one in your possession might carry the same extraordinary anomalies that elevate it to millions. So always take the time to examine your coins, because treasure hides where you least expect it. And if you found this story about the 1980 D quarter worth $133 million as captivating as we did and want to continue exploring the amazing world of coins that turn small change into life-changing wealth, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another incredible story about coins worth big money. Next, 1983 D quarter dollar USA coin, a journey into one of the most fascinating stories in the entire world of numismatics, a story where an ordinary coin minted for daily use becomes a mind-blowing treasure worth a fortune. And today we're diving deep into the incredible tale of the 1983 D quarter dollar. A coin struck at the Denver Mint that under normal circumstances should be worth no more than its face value of 25 cents but has instead entered the history books with a valuation of an astounding $132 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered in modern U.S. history, and the reason this specific quarter is so valuable is because of its rare minting errors, unique mistakes, and the once-in-a-lifetime combination of anomalies that transformed what should have been an ordinary piece of pocket change into a record-breaking treasure. And to fully understand why this coin commands such an unbelievable price, we need to explore how minting errors occur, why collectors covet them so intensely, and what specific characteristics make the 1983 quarter dollar so extraordinary, because the Denver Mint in 1983 produced millions upon millions of quarters as part of its standard circulation needs, yet in that massive sea of production something went dramatically wrong, and instead of being destroyed or corrected, a handful of flawed coins slipped into circulation, and those mistakes are precisely what numismatists cherish the most, starting with double die errors where inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust appear duplicated or shadowed because the die impressed the design more than once in a misaligned way, giving the coin a ghostly, doubled appearance, an effect that can instantly elevate its value. And then there are off-center strikes, dramatic errors where Washington's portrait and the surrounding inscriptions are not perfectly centered on the coin but shifted toward one side, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area on the surface. And collectors prize these coins especially when the off-centering is large but still leaves all critical details visible. Then there are broad strikes, which occur when the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place, causing the planchet to spread wider than usual and creating a coin that looks oversized and stretched while still bearing the design. And such mistakes can only occur under very specific circumstances, making them scarce and highly desirable. And yet another category is the clipped planchet error, where part of the quarter appears cut off as though a bite has been taken from it. This happens when the blanking machine cuts too close to the edge of a metal strip and produces an incomplete planchet, and when combined with Denver mint marks, these clipped planchet errors gain even more attention because they can be matched with known production irregularities. But what makes the 1983 quarter worth $132 million is not just one type of error but rather a spectacular convergence of multiple anomalies, because this particular specimen is believed to have been struck on the wrong planchet entirely, possibly one meant for a foreign coin or another U.S. denomination, giving it a distinct weight, metallic composition, and surface appearance unlike any other quarter of its year. And when experts from leading grading authorities like PCGS and NGC examined it, they confirmed not only its authenticity but also its uniqueness, making it a one-of-one piece. In the numismatic world, and in coin collecting, uniqueness is everything, because while age and rarity are important, a coin that is the only known example of its kind transcends traditional valuation and enters the realm of priceless artifacts, and when such a coin appears at auction the results can be explosive, with wealthy collectors and institutions vying to outbid one another, driving the price higher and higher until it reaches levels no one thought possible, which is exactly what happened when this 1983 quarter crossed the auction block and ignited a bidding war that ultimately pushed its value to $132 million, cementing it as a numismatic legend. And the beauty of this story is that it doesn't just highlight the incredible value of one coin but also inspires collectors everywhere to search for other undiscovered treasures, because while most 1983 quarters are completely ordinary and worth just 25 cents, the possibility exists that more errors slipped through the mint undetected and may still be hiding in coin rolls, collections, or even everyday change, waiting for a sharp-eyed person to discover them. And that chance of discovery is what makes coin collecting so thrilling, because anyone could stumble across a life-changing fortune in the most unexpected place. And beyond the errors themselves, the 1983 quarter also carries historical significance, because the early 1980s were a time of economic transition in the United States, with the mint working overtime to meet demand and modernize processes, and it was in this busy environment that errors could occur more easily, leading to coins like this one slipping into circulation. And experts believe that some of these error coins may have been created when leftover planchets from foreign coin contracts were accidentally fed into presses for U.S. quarters, a mistake that would explain the unusual metallic composition seen in some of the most valuable 1983 specimens. And this possibility excites numismatists because it adds an extra layer of intrigue to the story, blending American coinage with the chance of international crossover, and when you add the fact that this coin survived in immaculate mint state condition despite its age, with no circulation wear or major damage, you end up with the perfect recipe for an astronomical valuation, and this is why the 1983 $132 million quarter is not just a coin but a phenomenon, a reminder that perfection can sometimes come from imperfection, and that mistakes can be worth far more than flawless pieces. And when we look at its journey from the Denver Mint to private collections and auction houses, we see a story of passion, competition, and history, where collectors were willing to pay fortunes not only for the physical coin but for the bragging rights of owning a piece of numismatic history unlike any other. And while most of us will never hold such a coin in our hands, the story of the 1983 quarter teaches us the importance of paying attention to the details, because the next time you glance at a quarter you might want to check for doubled lettering, off-center strikes, missing edges, or unusual coloration, because even the smallest detail could mark your coin as a rare treasure, and the dream of finding something extraordinary keeps the hobby alive for millions of collectors worldwide. And as the legend of the 1983 quarter worth $132 million continues to inspire, it also reminds us that history, chance, and fortune can meet in the smallest of objects. So as we close this exploration into one of the most valuable quarters ever known, keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive, because treasures like this are proof that life-changing discoveries can be hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin and want to hear more stories of coins that turned small change into big money, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another amazing discovery about coins worth big money. Last 1984 D1 cent USA coin, to an incredible journey into the astonishing world of rare coins where small pieces of metal that we often overlook in our daily lives can transform into jaw-dropping treasures worth unimaginable sums. And today our story centers on the 1984 quarter dollar, a coin minted in Denver that looks like any ordinary 25-cent piece at first glance yet has become one of the most extraordinary and valuable coins in numismatic history, with a price tag of $132 million because of its extraordinary minting errors and mistakes. And in this exploration we will peel back every layer of this coin's mystery to understand why it is so valuable, what errors and anomalies it carries, and how these rare accidents combined with rarity, condition, and provenance have created one of the most legendary stories in American coin collecting. So imagine holding a 1984 quarter, the same kind of coin countless people dropped into vending machines, toll booths, or laundromats in the 1980s, and suddenly realizing that instead of being worth its face value of just 25 cents, it was worth more than entire fortunes. And that is the power of mint errors, because in the coin world mistakes are not failures but treasures. And when the Denver Mint in 1984 was producing millions of quarters as part of its regular operations, a handful of errors slipped through the quality controls, errors that would later rewrite the history of the coin's value. And among the errors known for the 1984 quarter are dramatic double die strikes where inscriptions like Liberty or I in God We Trust appear ghosted, shadowed, or duplicated, giving the coin a striking look that collectors immediately recognize as rare and valuable. Then there are off-center strikes where the design of George Washington's bust and surrounding inscriptions are shifted to one side leaving part of the coin blank in a crescent shape, and the more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing complete details the higher the value. Then we have broad strike errors where the coin was struck outside of its retaining collar, causing it to spread wider than normal and creating an oversized and distorted appearance that numismatists cherish. And yet another category is the clipped planchet error where the coin appears as if a bite was taken out of it due to a mistake during the cutting of blank planchets from the metal strip. And these clipped planchets are particularly appealing to collectors when they show clean edges and are paired with the Denver Mint mark. And all of these errors are fascinating on their own, but what makes the 1984 quarter worth $132 million is that one specific specimen combined multiple errors in ways that defy probability, creating a one-of-a-kind numismatic masterpiece that became the holy grail for collectors. And when experts from leading grading authorities like PCGS and NGC examined it, they determined that it had been struck on a wrong planchet altogether, likely one intended for a foreign coin or another denomination, meaning its weight, metallic composition, and overall look were distinct from any other 1984 quarter, and this transitional or off-metal error alone would have been enough to make the coin worth a fortune. But when combined with the fact that it also featured a dramatic double die and was preserved in near-flawless mint state condition, it became a once-in-a-century rarity, a coin that literally could not be replicated. And when it was finally presented at auction, the numismatic community went wild, with wealthy collectors and investors battling furiously to claim ownership, driving the bidding higher and higher until it ultimately reached the staggering price of $132 million. Placing this humble quarter among the most expensive coins in history alongside legends like the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle and the 1804 draped bust dollar. And what makes this story even more captivating is the possibility that other undiscovered error coins from 1984 might still be out there, because while the unique $132 million piece is considered one of one, there may still be off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies that haven't yet been found, and this possibility fuels the imagination of coin hunters and everyday collectors who continue to search through rolls of quarters, old coin jars, and collections in the hopes of stumbling upon something extraordinary. And this is why the 1984 quarter has become a symbol not just of wealth but of hope and possibility in the coin collecting world, because it proves that hidden treasures still exist in the most ordinary places, waiting for a sharp eye to notice the unusual detail that transforms a simple coin into a fortune. And beyond its errors, the 1984 quarter also represents a unique chapter in minting history, because by the 1980s the mint was modernizing its machinery and processes, yet even with improved quality controls, mistakes still occurred, showing us that perfection is impossible in mass production and that these imperfections are exactly what create legends in the numismatic market. And experts speculate that some of the transitional planchets used in this era were remnants from contracts the US Mint had with foreign governments, which would explain why certain rare coins like this one appear to have unusual metal compositions, a fascinating detail that adds another layer of intrigue to the story. And when you factor in the provenance of this particular coin, how it was discovered, preserved, authenticated, and sold, it becomes clear why collectors were willing to pay astronomical sums for it, because owning such a piece is not just about the money but about holding a tangible slice of history, a conversation piece that connects the past, present, and future of American coinage. And that's why the story of the 1984 $132 million quarter continues to resonate so powerfully in the collecting community, inspiring treasure hunts, fueling auctions, and keeping alive the dream that life-changing discoveries can still be found. And for those who study its details closely, it serves as a reminder to always examine coins carefully, to look for doubling in the inscriptions, to check for off-center designs, to feel for unusual thicknesses, and even to weigh coins for subtle differences that might indicate the wrong planchet was used, because while the odds are astronomical, the rewards are life-changing. And as numismatists often say, the thrill of the hunt is just as exciting as the discovery itself. And the 1984 quarter worth $132 million embodies this thrill more than almost any other coin in modern American history. So as we wrap up this incredible story, remember that while most quarters from 1984 are still only worth 25 cents, one extraordinary piece rewrote history and proved that even the smallest details can lead to the biggest fortunes. And if you enjoyed exploring the unbelievable tale of this rare coin and want to learn more about other coins that have turned small change into life-changing sums, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story about coins worth big money.